Okay, let's talk about art school again. So a couple of weeks ago, I think it was last week maybe, I made a video talking about the 5 pros that I experienced going to art school. Now, I didn't really talk about any of the downsides, even though there are quite a few big downsides from my own experience. If you haven't seen that original video about the 5 pros, go and watch it. I think YouTube puts it up here or maybe up there. It should pop up now. Again, I would like to preface this is from my own experience. I went to Michigan State's art program. Depending on which school you went to, you probably had a much different experience, and I'd love to hear about it below. I just think it's important to have kind of this open dialogue about the topic for people who are interested in going or are thinking about going, so that they could make a more informed decision ultimately. Let's get into it. Number 1 is financially. Take tuition out of it. College is already just ridiculously expensive, especially here in the States. Thousands of dollars of tuition. Just put that aside for a second. Just the material costs that I feel like most people don't think about are pretty high. Most majors, you have to buy textbooks for your classes. In art, you probably have to buy textbooks for a couple classes, mainly art history classes, but a lot of the money you're going to be spending is going to be for material costs. Now, I was a graphic design major, but I still had to take other separate art classes to fill out my credits. So I would have to take a painting class or a photography class. And all the materials in those classes, it didn't come from your tuition. You would have to pay extra. So for my photography class, in order to take the class, I actually had to go out and buy a camera. For painting, for example, you would have to buy all your oil paint and your canvas and everything you painted on, and paint thinner and turpentine and brushes and all that you would have to buy just to do the class. I was shocked at how expensive paint and canvas and all that was. I think for my final painting, I spent close to like $150 or something like that just for that final painting. And that's something all the students have to do. Now for graphic design, you would think that most of your projects are going to be done online and all that. And yes, that did start to happen a bit more after COVID. But before COVID, when I would take some of my classes, we would have to print all of our final projects. And we never really had tests, so we kind of just had 2 projects a month. And that was essentially the format of the class. And each print was, anywhere from $15 to like $40 to $50, depending on, if you got the print done perfectly the first time, which usually never really happened. The college would give us a discount, but it was nowhere near enough. All right, the second big downside to art school, and this is a really big one, is that I personally feel that depending on what you're going into for, you really don't need it. Now, why do I say this? I think a big part of art is experience and messing up, and that is ultimately how you get good. For the more like traditional arts, like painting, sculpture, all that, I don't really think anyone could seriously teach you on how to be a better artist. I think you just have to make a bunch of stuff that really, really suck. And over time, the more things you make, the less they start to suck. And eventually you're gonna get to a place where you're gonna make stuff that you're proud of and that is good and that resonates with people. And that only comes through the grueling process of trial and error. So I think paying thousands of dollars for classes just for someone to teach you, how to hold a paintbrush and, all that stuff, I think that money could probably be spent more wisely. Also, with the advent of technology and social media and YouTube, there's an incredible amount of information available to you for free online that kind of does the same thing for it. This channel, for example. Now, I'm not claiming to be replicating the exact experience that you would get if you went to art school. There are some benefits. It's kind of like a fast track way of someone kind of guiding you through your mistakes. But with a little bit of elbow grease and hard work, you will get there eventually, and it just takes time. For photography, for example, if you're thinking about going for photography, there's plenty of videos online that teach you how to use a camera and what constitutes a decent photo. And the hard part is getting the camera and just taking a bunch of photos of literally everything. And that's how you get good. So, art school, I don't know. I really don't think that for a good amount of people it's really necessary. But each person's different. So if you think you might need it, more power to you. The third drawback that I really noticed was the art world, and you just kind of get exposed to it, and the hypocrisy side of it, and the bureaucratic side of it, and it really is like a reality slap in the face for people who are dreamers in the industry. Now, most artists are dreamers, that's why we are artists. We kind of have this worldview of like, we're gonna do this because we're creative, and some of the kids have this like, screw the system kind of mentality that we don't want to work for the man and all that stuff. And you realize going into the arts that you're still kind of working for the man. I mean, that never really goes away. The art market is hilariously corrupt, and you come to find that out just even trying to put on simple basic shows. Funding is extremely hard to get, and in general, it is very easy to become demoralized. And the last real drawback, I think I have one more. Yes. You kind of feel invisible compared to all the other majors in the college. Now, what do I mean by this? If you go to a big school with many thousands of kids and a ton of majors, you kind of do feel left out and neglected by the hierarchy of the college. You don't really feel like the college really cares about you. You're just a tool that they're getting money from. This is way more apparent in the art program. The funding for the art program is usually much less, depending again on the college. I went to Michigan State. It was much less. Our building was just kind of falling apart. We had asbestos-ridden walls, while most other majors had like pristine brand new buildings. A lot of that was like anytime I would try to like get a meeting with like someone higher up in the university, not just the program, but higher up in the university, would kind of just be like laughed away or like given like a business card to like shoo us away. And yeah, that was pretty apparent. Anyway, these were just some of the downsides that I experienced going to art school. Again, I had a great time, met a lot of great people. The connections I made were pretty amazing, but gotta be real, not everything was sunshine and rainbows, and most things in life aren't. So this is just to help those who are thinking about going. Do your research on the school you're gonna go to. Until next time, hope you guys enjoyed. Comment below, let me know if you've gone to art school, if you've gone to like any other majors in college and some of these things sound familiar. Please let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Again, I only experienced the art majors, so can't really speak to any of the other ones, so share your thoughts. I'd love to learn more. Again, please subscribe, like, comment, let me know. New videos coming out every single week, but until next time, have a great day and bye-bye.